Okay, I've been heading the placement department, so you can say I met most of the HRs in Israel, or at least a good sum of them, for the last 15 years, and now I'm heading an AI program. If any of you is a programmer or a data scientist, the AI program is directed to them. It's about assisting people that have AI experience as a programmer or as a data scientist. If you have friends or family that come from this field, refer them directly to me. We will give out my aunt's email, and the Pre Aliyah will refer them to me. Okay. And the good thing about the AI program is that we help you find a job while you are still abroad, which is something that we can't do for other professions. But here we have a specific pilot with the Innovation Authority that allows us to do that. So anyway, I will allow a lot of time for questions after I speak, so you can ask specific question about your experience. So let us start with the general population. In general, the job market. So the job market in Israel is really divided to two sections, the high-tech and the non-tech. Okay, and there is huge differences between that. I will start by saying something very that might be a bit surprising. Right now, because of the AI revolution and more general confusion in the market because of the AI revolution, if you didn't come from tech in your background, the market is not that open to receive you in Israel for tech positions. Okay? So if you're gonna focus on the non-tech market, which is banking, insurance, retail, etc., your Hebrew should be good, really good, because they don't operate in English. Okay? So it means that if you are planning Aliyah, the most important thing you have to do is work like crazy on your Hebrew, to have at least conversational Hebrew when you arrive here if you don't come from tech. Okay? In the past, the market was open to English speakers in the tech industry in Israel. Right now, because of AI and because AI in Israel is already in full swing, and I mean full swing, marketing, analysts, etc., finance is being replaced in depth by AI. That's why English speakers are getting less of a chance to integrate to the tech market. Okay? I want to be very, very clear about it. The first thing you will see in most tech positions right now in Israel is experience in tech. So if you've been planning an aliyah and trying to, go into tech in Israel, if you don't come from tech, it's less of an option right now. Okay? I want to be very clear about that. Okay? You will see similar issues in most of Europe and US, okay? Because the companies are feeling confused and they're stopping hiring in the tech industry for the last year and a half. Okay? We will discuss it if you want regarding your personal situation in a few minutes. But it means, what does it mean? It means we are focusing in Gvahim right now in oil and gas, banking, insurance, and different type of position in these industries. And for these industries, they will also require almost always a bit of Hebrew, or at least an option to introduce yourself and discuss a professional background in Hebrew. What does it mean again? I don't know how it's optional in Australia or in US, but in Israel for sure, Hebrew lessons are a must, at least in the first 6 months.
Maya, we have two questions, if I may.
Yeah.
What about Hebrew in the construction industry? First question. Second one, so what, there are no jobs for other fields?
What field? We will talk about examples in a minute, but in the construction industry, they will definitely want Hebrew. It's almost totally Hebrew related, and even, very professional Hebrew, or the ability to fight and argue in Hebrew.
Other fields meaning education, allied health. So yes, you
Again,
have
what?
education, allied health. So yes,
I will
I
look at
can
the chat
answer.
because I'm not sure, what do you mean?
So for education,
Education allied
can
help? What is
you,
the question really? Ask
yeah,
it.
Randy,
Just
can
ask it.
you,
Just unmute yourself and ask it.
as a therapist, yes, there are jobs for therapists, there are jobs for the health industry and education. There is a need of a lot of teachers, but it's a little bit tricky, okay?
I'm just very curious. I work in early intervention. So I work with babies from naught really actually to 15 who are neurodiverse. I have multiple master degrees and law certificates. I have working Hebrew, but I don't have full Hebrew. So, I need to know what my options are. I'm very educated. Like, I don't mean that rudely. Like, I have 2 master's degrees, I have postdoc, I have certificates, like, all kinds of things. And Maya knows because
So
I asked her a heap of my documents to start the process to find out if I needed to requalify in any area.
Yes,
so
so
first you can be how do you say it? To get a Madan Ole certification if she has a PhD, okay, and postdoc, okay. And this is a process you have to do with Misrad Aliyah and Klita with your papers. I think Mayan, you are an expert in that, no? And I think research will be more relevant for you than daily work like you used to do, if this is what you used to do with parents and families in Israel, because usually therapeutic work is done in the language, okay, of the families and babies, etc., that is done in the country, like in Australia naturally in English, in Israel naturally in Hebrew, okay. So I don't see therapeutic work done on a daily basis as a private clinic as an option, unless you can also do it in Zoom, which is something you can do with other countries.
I can do whatever I want worldwide on Zoom, and that's fine because I work with families in crisis, and I work with children, teenagers, etc. So they can do things on Zoom, but the babies clearly not.
yes, so
Yeah, so that's
so
fine. Thank
Randy,
you.
so one, thank you first of all for the question, because two things, because we really, this session is important for us to answer questions, but obviously we cannot go very personal to each question because then 1 hour is not enough. So one of the reasons that we created the intro meetings one-on-one is exactly for that, to understand each and every one of your professions and questions, and of course we guide you. This is one thing. The personal consultations also, depending on your field, will give you all the answers that you want. Definitely will do that, okay? I do believe that you will be able to work here. We need together to find out exactly what will be the best way and how to do it and to proceed with the documentation early. Yes, it's good what you're doing.
I
Okay,
think that,
so
like Mayan said, documentation will be a key issue in your case,
yes,
especially to
yes.
receive more
And
assistance.
we have contact in the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Integration, and we'll help you and guide you on that. Okay. Yuda is asking, how about the data analyst in the risk management for financial services?
Okay, so again, the risk management and data financial analyst, it's not considered a senior position in Israel, just to be clear. Data analysts in general are being replaced right now by AI in a lot of industries. But if you will focus on the insurance or banking industry and you will work on your Hebrew, you will have a place in Israel.
So I work in a global company as an executive assistant for expat managers. So I can say that yes, the all the administration or administrative high level and executive assistant, there is a need here. Especially the English is a key and it's a good thing. Hebrew is always a must because yes, sometimes you need to communicate within the company with other people, but the fact that you have English will definitely help you in that field. Maya, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
No, you're not wrong. I don't think even, I think Hebrew will be great, but I don't think they will be hesitant to hire you even with just English, because for them, the experience as an executive assistant will be more important. It is important, though, that you plan, when you plan your aliyah, you will live in the center, because most of the CEOs or VPs that are taking an executive assistant are in the center and not outside the center. And they will require you be in the office.
What do you mean the center?
The center, I mean around Tel Aviv. So I think I stressed enough that a lot of you don't know, because it's usually Hebrew written and not in LinkedIn, about the other market in Israel. And when I talk about the other market, which is huge, I'm talking about banking, insurance, retail, and plants. There is a huge financial power in Israel, which is not related to tech, and Olim don't know enough about it. Okay? Because it's mostly written about in Hebrew in the financial newspapers, etc. I do think it's very important for all of you to start reading financial news in Israel. Okay, there is the English version for many financial newspapers in Israel. I think it's very important for all of you to start reading them. Okay, it will give you a better idea of the Israeli culture and what is happening right now in tech and in non-tech in Israel. Okay? I don't know how many of you know, for instance, about the opportunities in drug companies like Teva, in oil and gas companies like Energy and electricity company, etc. These are huge companies, okay? And a lot of you are missing out of them because you don't read Hebrew. I want to be very, very clear about it. I think right now you can even ask Google, thank God because of AI, to translate most of the Israeli newspapers to English and read them daily. Another thing I will talk about is about starting your job search before you make your aliyah. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it, and why? First, most companies, especially non-tech, wouldn't even consider interviewing someone abroad. Okay? This is not an option because it's not a process they need to do. There are enough candidates in Israel, so why, in a not nice way, ask it, why bother with someone abroad? Okay? The second thing is, in order to start the process in Israel, they need to have, you see, an Israeli WhatsApp and an Israeli address usually. Okay, so it's something that you don't have before you do Aliyah. Another thing to consider is that, except of not starting the process, they will want you to a lot of time come to a face-to-face interview, which you are not able to do when you're abroad. Okay, so don't start it while you're abroad, because what happens is you send your CV, it's in the system of the company, which means that they won't consider you when you send it again when you are in Israel 3 months or 4 months later. Usually there is a cooling period in company system for 4 or 5 months. Like, what I mean is that in most Israeli companies, if the CV is already in the system, they want to review it again. Is it clear, or do I have to make it like clearer? Another thing, in Israel, in order to get a job, it's not just about sending your CV. It's almost impossible by just sending online, okay? It's usually a referral because of the situation in the market. When I speak about the situation in the market, I speak about something which is global right now, because a lot of people are searching for a job. If you don't have the right referral for someone inside the company, the chances to get called for an interview are very, very small. This is why Mayan, for instance, showed you the Gvahim, screen that shows that we have 800. How many alumni do we have, Mayan? You remember?
In total, more than 8,000.
Okay, what does it mean 8,000 alumni in Israel? It means 8,000 doors to company. Because what we do, we use the alumni as power to get you into a company. We ask them, more clear to say, you ask them to forward your CV according to the company you want into. Okay? So we use our alumni the same way you will be used in the future after you find a job. We ask them to put your CV in the system. Okay, so you can get at least a chance to get a call back. So please wait. Wait until you do Aliyah. Wait until you do the course in Gvahim, which doesn't cost you almost money. okay, before you start sending your CV. I don't want you to burn yourself in the system.
Maya, we have a question. Where could I work with a master's in public policy?
So usually it will be nonprofit. Okay, when I say nonprofit, I mean places like Masa, Taglit, the Jewish Agency, etc. I'm not talking about Israeli governmental offices, because this is less relevant for Olim. You need great Hebrew, not just good Hebrew.
So how is the market in those spaces that you mentioned? The international nonprofits, the domestic nonprofits. I imagine that even though we need really strong Hebrew for working with the Israeli Hebrew speaking population, if there is research that concerns populations of Israelis who also speak other languages, that might be relevant. But how is the market there? How is the network in there? What do we need to know to get into that space?
So the network is really good for Gvahim. Okay, that's for sure. We have a lot of alumni working in different places in the nonprofit sector. That I can say for sure because I know a lot of them. But you have to take into consideration two things. If you plan, and this is why we recommend a face-to-face meeting. If you plan to come to Israel and work in this space, you have to decide whether you're going to live in Jerusalem or around Jerusalem. A lot of the nonprofit, especially the more governmental offices are there. Okay. So it's something you have to consider before coming. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I'm already here, so
yeah. So a lot
I'm
of
already
the
starting to
offices
go
are in
aim.
Jerusalem sometimes. Okay, especially Jewish, the Jewish, the Joint, the Jewish Agency, etc. A lot of the offices are there. And also the question is, what is your background? I mean, if your background is research, so it's very specific. Okay, so then we can also consider universities, etc. Okay, so it's very, very important that did you do the Gvahim course and ask for an HR which specializes in nonprofit.
Yeah.
Okay, she will know much better to guide you.
How is the market for fluent bilingual Russian speakers?
In which field again?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, generally, I'm an architect and I have my own business here in Australia and also do some sessional teaching. So I ideally would like to get a job in one of the universities so that I can lecture in architecture and reopen the business. But Hannah's an operations manager at an IT company, so effectively she's in the tech space, a little bit in the cyber. I'm bilingual, native in Russian. I'm wondering if that's going to be at all useful.
For you again, like my aunt said, if you want to go into an Israeli university, you have to be recognized as a PhD in your field. Okay.
You have to have a PhD to teach?
For a lecturer in the university, yes. To work as an architect, you have to be acknowledged with your qualification in the Israeli market.
For the Center for Integration of Scientists, you don't need to have a PhD. You kind of need to send them your CV, publications or projects, etc., and then you have an interview with them to talk about your work, to get recognized as a scientist. So that might be in.
Maybe it can assist also, yeah. Why not? But if you want to work as an architect, so Hebrew is important, of course. Usually, I think, unfortunately, if you're more senior, you will have to start more junior and be more hands-on technically, because the language, you'll be missing the language as long as your Hebrew is not great.
Can you help somebody in their 50s who has a master's degree and other degrees, but no work experience?
So I don't know, like, what field you will want to take, but it will probably be quite junior, because in general, I think you can do, if your English is great, you can consider going into teaching, okay, in schools, teaching English, which is there is.
I have a master's in public policy, and I have a bachelor's in social welfare.
Again, because you have no in Israel, I have to say in Israel, academic degrees are less relevant. I mean, people look at what you did, less what you studied. Okay? For all the positions, I'm talking about all the positions here. Degrees in Israel are rarely considered as something that is giving you an option to work in something. Okay, it's more about what you did as a student and afterwards and in the last 5 years.
Okay, I didn't do anything. Can you help me?
So we are talking about moving into teaching. That's what I'm trying to say. Usually
You
moving
think
into
I could teach? What would I
teach
teach?
English. Usually what I want to say
Oh.
is teach English in schools, okay? In
Yes.
schools, usually because there is a necessity right now in Israel for English teachers, if you have
Yeah.
a degree, okay, and you are an
Yes.
English speaker, a native English speaker, they give you for free the certification to be a teacher.
Oh.
Yeah, you study that in the seminar for free,
Yes.
and then you become a teacher.
Can I get a stipend to study it?
Yeah, you do it for free.
In regards to the certificates or the PhD or master, whatever it is, do you require a special certificate from Israel, or it's okay if somebody's graduate from overseas? Do I have to, go through the process of recognition and changing my transcripts to the Israeli one, or it's okay if it's from Australia, from England, or from Europe?
So some of the certificates doesn't matter if it's from abroad. You will need to have the process of maybe translate it or do the equivalation. But again, send me exactly what you have by mail or WhatsApp, and I will figure out with the relevant department and ask what exactly you need to do. Yehuda, could you please define tech? It feels like a very broad term. Does tech means Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, etc.?
So yes, in Israel, actually, tech means usually a SaaS company, usually, or anything related to hardware and software. When I say hardware, so anything related to electronics, also consider tech. It really depends on what kind of. If you want to ask a specific question, I'll be happy to answer. Okay, great. So we talked about two things, right? We talked about how important Hebrew is if you don't come from the tech sphere and you want to move into something interesting in Israel. And we talked about not sending your CV before because there's no point in, getting frustrated because you're sending from abroad and not getting any answers, because it doesn't mean they don't want you. It simply means that it's not something which an Israeli company is used to do, and usually they won't do it. Okay? Another thing, I want to talk about the friend system in Israel. I think it's stronger in Israel than in other countries. The statistics in Israel speak about 75 to 80% being accepted to work through a connection. What does it mean? In Israel, a connection can be a very slight connection or a very small connection. Someone you met at a party and gossiped with a glass of wine in your hand, okay? It can be someone that is your neighbor and you talked about something while you were walking your dogs. Okay? In Israel, it's very natural to ask for assistance or to acquire what someone is doing or if he can help you, even if you just met him for a few minutes. Okay? It's not considered rude. It's considered something friendly and easy to do to ask someone, oh, where do you work? Oh, can you pass my CV? I saw something in your company, etc., etc. The good thing about Gvahim, because a lot of Olim are a bit shy about doing that, is that we have a website. I don't know if you were explained about that, but if you'll do Gvahim course, we will explain about that. We have a website in Gvahim which is closed only for Gvahim alumni, which is a bit like LinkedIn. What does it mean? It means that you can write, for instance, that you are looking for analysts, and you will see all the people who are alumni or mentors that are analysts, and you can contact them and not feel embarrassed that you don't know them because they are either Gvahim alumni or mentors that are assisting Gvahim on a daily basis. Okay, so I think it can save you a lot of headache and a lot of embarrassment if you work with Gvahim and you work in Gvahim sphere. Okay. Another thing, if you come to Israel, one of the most important thing in the pre-aliyah process is the consultancy you are getting. What do I mean? Like I said now to someone, if you plan to work in non-profit, maybe consider Jerusalem. I think it's very important to understand what your background in your situation, family situation, directs you to concerning where to live, okay, in Israel. In Israel, there is a huge difference between different parts of Israel concerning job opportunities and education or housing situation. You need to understand it. I'm sure that if I would come to Australia, I would have to check with you, if I have small children, where should I live? If I'm like a high level researcher, where should I stay, etc., etc. It's really important for you to check these things before you make your aliyah so you can be relaxed about it, okay? And you know exactly where you are heading, also financial wise, okay? It's very important to understand that if you're going to be, for instance, a teacher, maybe it's more important not to live in the center, okay? Because then you can have a good level of life outside the center on the same salary. So this is what you have to do pre-aliyah meetings with Mayan and the pre-aliyah team before you come to Israel. Something that you could never guess out of being in Australia or in other countries, okay?
Okay. Is it appropriate to respond to a job posting where you are mega relevant except for the Hebrew level to say that you are interested in being on the project as part-time assistant consultant for low salary amount or
So
question?
usually
This
most Israeli companies won't accept it as an idea because of two reasons. First of all, consultant is hardly a position in Israel. It's not considered a position in Israel in most cases, which is different than abroad. Okay, and they're not usually open to part-time in Israel, almost completely, unless it's very clear in the ad. And the only option you have if you want to strengthen your work experience in Israel, it's something we discuss usually when you're in Israel. But first of all, it's only for tech companies, only for tech companies, and not for non-tech. Okay, non-tech companies wouldn't consider it at all, but tech companies and sometimes non-profit will consider you volunteering, and then it's not paid at all. Now, a lot of Israelis do it. A lot of us are doing it. 80% of us, especially in nonprofit and junior in tech, are volunteering to get experience. Okay, I want you to be clear. It's not someone using you. Most Israelis are doing it.
great.
Right. The non-paid volunteering makes sense. I think the question is more when you do have full expertise needed for the job posting, except for the Hebrew. But
Yeah,
I think I
but in
got my answer.
nonprofit, even people with 10, 20 years of experience keep volunteering if they're looking for work. Usually what happens in nonprofit, there are not that many options. So if you are volunteering in the organization that interests you, usually if something opens up, they will take you. So it's like preparing ahead, because if they already know you and they like you, so why even publish the position? They will simply hire you. Okay, so that is like a gamble a lot of Israelis are doing.
Okay, thank you, Maya. Andrea is asking, fluent English and Spanish speaker. I finished Ulpan Aleph and I'm continuing to study in bed. I only want the Tiberias area for work. I also prefer jobs where I can improve my Hebrew. 62 years old, female, corporate, and entrepreneurial background. What are my options here in the area?
Doesn't mean anything in Israel. You have to have a specific name.
When I say entrepreneurial, I've owned businesses. In the tourism industry, I've owned businesses abroad in Panama. And also, before that, I worked in New York City in corporate environments. I worked in special events, these types of things.
So events is less relevant without the Hebrew. Okay, almost completely. Tourism can be relevant, and it's a small industry in Israel, especially because of the war, etc. It didn't recover yet. Okay, so the places to consider is more that you will have to do probably a change in your career and repackage, which is something that Gvahim offers, and this will need a lot of HR, one-on-one discussing what you can repackage for.
Okay.
So,
But are there opportunities in Tiberias? Because I really want to stay in
well,
Tiberias. My whole family.
Tiberias is a city with tourism, as you know, all
Mhm.
around the Kinneret. You have a lot of hotels, you have a lot of clubs. So I believe answer is yes.
I think
But I think
Tiberius,
that
I think I wouldn't say that Tiberius is full of positions, okay? Because especially it's a city far from the center, okay? So the number of positions will be much lower. I'm sure you know about it if you live there and you have
tourism.
family there. It will be about either continuing, and I know of a few people continuing the business from Israel online, especially in the tourism industry.
Andrea, I think the best is once you register to the pre-Aliyah, one of the consultations could be definitely one-on-one with HR and check together, as Maya said, all repackaging, meaning taking all your expertise, experience, and see how you can implement them in different industry, or together check the opportunities in the tourism world. Okay?
Okay, but can I ask a follow-up question that's in a general way? Is it true that Israel is what we call an ageist country?
Yeah,
Do I have?
completely. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
completely ageist country because of the tech industry. But the good thing about it is that it's less ageist what they consider it outside tech. Let's say if you're going to tourism or if you're going to, being a school teacher or if you're going to be working in retail, nobody cares about the age. More questions, anyone?
So I was told by somebody else, like an influencer, not to do Ulpan, like don't waste my time on it for 5 months. Um, but I've heard from other people to do Ulpan. Um, but he was saying, don't spend your time doing Ulpan, get into a job right away. Um, but now I'm just confused.
What is your background?
I do senior living, operations, family liaison, um, you know, unofficial social worker. I'm currently in school for social work, master's, but I'm not going to be finishing that when I get to Israel.
Okay, so two things. First, you're not going to go into tech, unfortunately. Okay, probably because your background and your experience are less relevant for them. Okay. Second, if you're going to go to nonprofit or to something related to therapy or to social work, the language is the first tool in your kit. Okay, so not learning Hebrew will be a huge mistake. Okay, especially that you are young and it will go much quicker. But if you want to really learn Hebrew, start now one-on-one online. Okay, like really start with your own teacher, maybe not ulpan, it doesn't have to be ulpan. And by the way, there are different ulpan, some of them are better than others. Okay, some of them are, I would even recommend, there is a very serious program in Israel for 6 months in the university learning Hebrew. If you can do that program, I would highly recommend it.
So I'm signing up for what was it, Maya?
Brodeski. So Amanda is really good. She did a great preparation. She's coming next month. She registered to Brodeski Ulpan, what we say to all the Olim, you always have the option to do morning Ulpan or evening Ulpan. The morning Ulpan is more intensive, is more, I think is better, okay? But again, we cannot go into the packet of each one of you. It's depending on how you can really allow yourself to do the 5 month, 5 days a week in the morning and do some small jobs in the afternoon, evening, just to get some pocket money and improve your Hebrew. But people who really need the job in the profession, so yes, go find a job and do the evening ulpan, but don't give up on the ulpan, whatever decision you take.
It's
Because
not
Hebrew is
Amanda,
important.
in your case specifically, because language is a kit, a tool in your kit box for the future. I would definitely invest as much as possible in that field. Okay, not to narrow your chances in the future. So let's talk about something that is always interesting to all of you: salaries. Okay, in Israel, it's very popular, and you will be asked a lot, even in the first conversation. what is your salary expectation? Israel is very different in that field than other countries, extremely different. Okay. And it's really important to know how much you can earn when they ask you about salary expectation. One of the good things of meeting HR in Pre-Aliyah, okay, or in the course of Gvahim is the fact that you can discuss the salary in your field, okay, and have a number that you can give. In general, I want to say that tech and non-tech are completely different salary-wise, okay? And you have to have, and that's why we always recommend again and again the Pre-Aliyah. You have to understand what is your salary options in Israel and what is the living expenses. And this way you can at least decide where to live and where to come when you're coming to Israel. Okay, there is a huge difference between living in the center, which I guess is probably in every country. Living in London, from what I remember, I used to live in London, for instance, is like 5 times more expensive than living in Manchester, okay? Or at least 4 times more expensive. So you have to take this into consideration and understand the destination you are coming to, okay? Yeah.
So we have questions. Are there opportunities in tech for a senior business analyst with nearly 30 years experience in technology, banking, and telecommunications? Like jumping, and also nearly 10 years experience at the same time as a senior project manager in banking.
Okay, so the only thing the tech company will look at is the last 5 years. Whatever happened more than 5 years ago is less relevant in Israel. Okay? For all of you, just to know only what happened in the last 5 years is relevant to HRs in Israel. Anything before that is less relevant. I can explain why if you want to. Okay? But in general, only if you have tech experience for the last 5 years will any tech company consider your relevancy. If not, only the banks and insurance companies will consider it.
Another question. I have a degree in civil engineering, fluent French, English, and Spanish. I have 6 years experience in urban planning, transportation area. What are my options in Israel?
Actually, not bad. Okay, funny enough, the civil engineering field has been growing in Israel in the last few years. I think you can actually land pretty good position. Although, again, it would be so much easier for you if you have Hebrew, because then you can go into city halls like what we call area. You call it city hall, the same thing, I think. And city halls have, good departments in this field. And without Hebrew, it's much more difficult. Also, if you have a higher degree, you can, become a lecturer in the field, which is also interesting. Okay, if you have, again, a PhD, an MA plus research, etc. So I think the options are good, especially for English. The Spanish and French will be less relevant.
Okay, so there are two questions. One I will answer. How much time before moving would you suggest to get in contact with Gvahim? My wife is doing her master and we are thinking about moving when she finishes. And so to answer that, as soon as you can, because the Prelia program one is free, two doesn't have a deadline time. And the more time you have to prepare yourself, the more time you have to investigate on things, I think it's a win-win. So please register today. Second question, what age is too hard, late to find a job in tech? I work in tech and I'm already in my 40s.
Okay, so did you work in tech? I didn't understand. Yeah, no?
Yeah. I work
Okay,
in
in
tech.
the last 5 years, who asked the question?
I asked it. I have been working tech for the last 15 years. I went through the different programming languages and roles.
The last role being?
The moment I'm a senior backend developer. Before I have been tech lead, worked in different startups and consulting
So for
companies.
senior backend developers, no problem. Don't worry.
Okay, we have a very nice question. I don't like questions about salary expectation. I feel uncomfortable talking about money, especially at a job interview. It's not polite to talk about this. Miriam Kate. So, Maya.
In Israel, it is polite.
It's not
like
only
like they say
that
in
you
Rome, act as Rome.
Exactly. And it's not only that, it's that the fact that, we see that Olim think that because they are Olim, it's not appropriate and maybe I should start anyway. Don't be shy. The fact that you're Olim doesn't mean you need to, I mean, it's definitely okay to talk, to investigate about it before, to negotiate. And
It's
the fact you're
expected,
Olim,
Mayan. It's expected that you ask.
no, not only that, is sometimes you bring such much added value, okay, that you need to be proud and not the opposite. So definitely ask, talk about it, and it's
I will
normal.
give another point of view. It's also considered professional to know how much to ask for. It's considered not professional not to know.
What if we give a number that's too high? Does that automatically ruin our chances, or will they come back and negotiate? Like if we make the mistake and go too high?
So usually it really depends. If it's like 2,000-3,000, shekels too high, they will come back to you. Anything above that, they will probably not.
What software developer with 5 years experience? What's the average salary in high tech in Tel Aviv?
Okay, so it's easy. Do you have experience in security or in chip design?
No, software development only.
In which company did you work for? Gaming, banking, what type of
Banking,
company?
banking.
Banking? Okay, so it's a fintech company usually that will accept you, and they will want to see, I think if before it was around 40, now it's around 30.
Around 30,000 shekel, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the fintech is higher in terms of salary?
No, fintech is not the highest. The highest paying companies in Israel right now are security companies and chip companies. And they will want to know what kind of experience, even in fintech, you have in AI programming. It will be almost the first question.
AI is now already
Big, very
embedded.
big.
Okay.
Almost every fintech company in Israel has moved to AI.
So if you have AI experience in security,
yeah, or at least have some projects in AI in your GitHub.
So if AI is here and security, cyber security, for example, then what would be the average salary?
Around 40.
So around 40,000 shekel a month.
Yeah, but this is only if you have experience in security.
Okay, and this is the highest, the higher range salary.
Yeah,
okay.
Chip and security are the higher.
So there is a interesting question from Laurent. You mentioned security and chip. Why these two in particular?
Because it's connected to AI.
Okay.
Becky is asking, what is the average work week in days hours? So 8 hours a day, 5 days a week?
No, depends. In tech, it's between 9 to 11 hours a day. This is the standard in Israel in tech. In non-tech, it's like she said, 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah. Will be okay asking for benefits?
Depends which benefits. In Israel, it's not custom to pay overtime. It's not custom to pay extra hours. It's legal not to pay them. And most of the people don't accept extra hours. Okay? But you can ask for benefits like in special insurance, special savings, etc. Lunch. Depends on the company.
Okay. Working in uni, do I need Hebrew?
In what? University?
Uni. Yeah, university.
Depends. First, in research, depends in what in university, what type of work.
So sorry. If it's like lecturer, associate prof, do I need
what is your field?
In IT, information technology, network security.
Okay, so in general, I would say yes, but there are a few universities that have English programs. Okay. But it's not a big sphere in Israel. I wouldn't count on lectures as a way of living in Israel.
Research? Research
a bit more, yeah.
Are they certain universities that you recommend that they use English rather than Hebrew?
So it's more about programs, okay? For instance, there is, English programs in Reichman University.
Okay.
But in general, again, this is very specific. Again, Dr. Quayle, I stress out, don't bank on that. Don't go to that direction if you want to earn a living.
What are vacations norms? So usually by law, it's a day a month, meaning 12, but usually most of the companies in the contract, you can negotiate and receive 15 days a year. That's approximately plus minus, okay? And some of the companies, depending again which one, the holidays like the festivals, okay? So some of them in the evening festival, it's a day off. It's very varied on the company and but to answer a general answer between 12, which is the law, but 15 days it's okay to negotiate and to ask 2 weeks a year. I know it's very, very different from Europe for sure, and maybe from the States as well, but yeah. In tech, is the expectation to work 5 or 6 days per week? 5 days. 5. We all, most of the companies, 90% of the cases, it's 5 days a week and not 6. Okay. Teachers work 6 days because Friday the elementary go to school, but again, 90% of the companies we're talking about 5 days a week.
And also for teachers, Mayan, it really depends on the hours they take.
Of course. No, but I'm saying as working, so Friday is a working day for teachers, but depending again which teacher you are, etc. Good. So guys, Maya, you finish your part?
I think that if they will want more in depth, it will be one-on-one with you.
Of
okay?
course. Oh, we have one more question. I work as BDR and marketing in tech with deep experience with Latam for the last 4 years. Is there any special value in these jobs?
English mother tongue and Spanish and Portuguese in Latin America is great, okay? But take into consideration two things. First of all, most Israeli companies have stopped or narrowed the work with Latin America for the last 2 years, okay? So it's less relevant.
I'm a social worker and I've been working for 3 years, but my Hebrew is okay. It's not fluent, but what would you recommend I do like when I get to Israel? Because I'm not going to obviously work in that field until
Why
my
not?
Hebrew's better.
Okay. So as I said, there is the 6 months training in the university. Take it.
So Maya, someone asked earlier, can you tell us which university is doing that program?
I think it's in Tel Aviv University, a Hebrew course for 6 months for Olim.
Okay. So you guys, I will try to check it out exactly and send you all in the email with the recording, maybe the answer of that, okay? Because I don't know that program, but we'll take a look and send you the exact details about that.
I think a lot of Masa people are doing it after they finish Masa, so you can check with them also. Okay?
Okay. All right.
I have a
great.
list of all of the all of the Opanim, so I could send it out.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, that's great, Amanda. But the Ulpanim, it's one thing, but I think what Maya referring is a little bit different because in the universities you don't have Ulpan, it's a course. The Ulpanim,
Should I
the
be
list you
doing
have.
that?
Sorry?
I think from what I saw as results, I saw really impressive results for people that did the 6 months daily. It's like really studying in the university, but only Hebrew on a daily basis, 8 hours a day.
So that's mine is five hours a day,
5
days
hours a day. Brodeski, it's 5 days, 5 hours every day. That's
Great.
most
So
of the
it sounds
Ulpanim.
really good, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So for all the Olim, just for you to know, the Ulpanei Etzion, okay, especially the Haifa, Ranana, Jerusalem, are very good. We're talking about 5 days, every 5 hours, 5 days a week. Very, very intensive and good. But again, there is a big difference if you guys are coming with 0 level of Hebrew and starting Ulpan Aleph, then coming to Israel with the Ramah Aleph already and entering Bed and finishing Gimel. That's the difference, because even if you go to the best Ulpan in the world, Ramah Aleph will not be enough for working, okay? That's why one of the first things we say to everyone at Gvahim is start with your Hebrew classes from abroad, There are a lot of options, one-on-one. Take a student, it's a pocket money for him. It's a big value for you. Do online. There are a lot of ways to really start your Hebrew classes from now.
Amanda,
Really,
where are
really
you
important.
from?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, so I will tell everyone just to imagine in the next situation. I have like 20 years experience in HR. Let's say I would come to Baltimore, Maryland without my English at all, or very little English. Who would care that I'm an expert? Who would care that I have great Hebrew? Okay? If I can just, maybe say a few words like thank you and nice to meet you in English. Okay?
Yeah.
So think about that and understand Israeli culture.
Got it.
So get online. Who said that? Hebrew
Yes,
classes from
please
your
get
local Jewish
online
community is very well.
English, Hebrew.
Yes, yes,
Get online.
yes, absolutely. Now, also in Gvahim, we have a list of online options. So whoever knows us, I can show you. And the one who are registering, I will let you know. How is the Tel Aviv University Hebrew course different from different to Ulpan? Well, Maya says is more intensive.
I understood it's 8 hours a day, etc.
Yeah,
But
8 hours
I might
definitely is
be
more
hearing
intensive.
just the wrong. I heard it from people that have been doing that, so I didn't check it myself.
We'll check it. I promise. We'll check it. Specifically in the university, we'll check it and we'll send it to you. Okay, I will do my research on that. I don't want to just say yes or no. Prefer to check it. Okay?
So I think we will sum up because we are over time. But remember, we are not disappearing. Mariam is here for you.
Last question from Joshua. You deleted it? No. Open the mic. Ask your last question, Joshua. Please.
But my question was, I have a bachelor's in international relations from a London university, and I'm considering the MA in cyber politics and government from Tel Aviv University because under the age of 30, I get a subsidy from the student authority. And I wanted to ask how accessible the cybersecurity sector is in Israel for English-speaking candidates.
It's not from that course, for sure.
No, okay.
Okay, generally any course which is more academic and not hands-on will be less relevant. You won't get into cyber companies through something which is non-tech. This won't work. But you will be able, if you work on your Hebrew, to go into governmental positions.
Okay. And are there any boot camps that you would recommend to kind of accelerate not the technical skills?
Don't do boot camps, something I forgot to say. Don't get anything you have to pay for in boot camps. Israel right now is overflooded with computer science graduates that can't find a job because of the AI revolution. Okay? So in general, don't take any boot camp ever in Israel unless you check with us first. Most of them are a scam, not a scam. They want your best, okay? They have your best interest in mind. But the market is closed for bootcamp right now. Completely closed, okay? Don't do a bootcamp.
Okay, thank you.
Maya is very strict, huh? I mean,
yeah.
So
I'm sorry because I see too many people wasting their. You have like allowance for Misrad Aliyah and Aklita, and they are like checking you out for that and targeting you for that. And then you are spending your 7,000 to 14,000 shekel and you can't find a job at the end, and it really makes me angry. There is a few places that if you pass their exam and you are accepted, it's for free and it's worthwhile trying. There are only 2 courses like this in Israel.
So again, thank you so much for your time and being with us. I hope to see all of you in introduction meetings with one of us. So thank you all.
Thank you very much.